Hello and welcome to TB3 Sports Talk, episode 46. And it's been almost a week, if not more, but Steven Stamkos is no longer at Tampa Bay Lightning. Me and Will talked big time on this last week, but Colby's back on the panel today, so we got to ask him. Colby, how are you feeling about this Steven Stamkos trade?
Well, Joel, first of all, thanks for taking me back, guys. I know we had a huge argument last week, and that's why I wasn't here, of course. Yeah. Just kidding. We don't fight here. Also, Will's not going to be here. He was busy this week. But fret no longer. We'll be getting TB3 boys back together. It's just a quick episode. We just got a little bit of Stamkos, a little bit of Rays baseball. But yes, been about a week since Stamkos left. Still doesn't feel real. I'm really... I fell in the middle when we were talking about this when Stamkos was, obviously we didn't know if he was going to come back or not after the Panthers series. I didn't know, hey man, we don't want to be a retirement home. We don't want to be, giving people money even just because of their past and kind of just boot on this core and giving them a chance to win. But you look back and just the way that this whole Stamkos situation went down, pretty frustrated with the Lightning's front office, man. I understand if Steven Stamkos, he ended up getting $8 million a year with the Predators, and the Predators had the money to pay that. To me, I don't think Steven Stamkos is worth $8 million, but that's not what he was asking for from the Lightning. He was asking for $4 to $5 million, and you look right now, the Lightning as they currently stand, they have gotten Jake Gensel, they have added some depth and some pieces all around with some solid free agent signings. They obviously had to get rid of Janot and Sergachev, but to me, I think that was shedding a lot of dead weight. I know some people will disagree on the Sergachev front, but I was not a huge fan of him. But you look at the Lightning, they have $5 million, almost $6 million in cap space right now. I see no reason. I think Steven Stamkos wanted to be a Bolt. He said it. I saw the interview where he was talking about how it's just a business, and you could tell there's pain in his voice. I think he wanted to be a Bolt for life. This is the organization that drafted him, and it's unfortunate to see. I think, I'm pretty frustrated with how JBB and the rest of the Lightning front office treated this. I think hardballing probably your best player in franchise history. It's something that is not a good omen for the future of your franchise, because JBB didn't build up this core. He didn't. That was Stevie Y, and I don't know. I definitely I heard you guys talking about it. I know Will and I think you are on the same page where JBB is kind of on a streak of we are questioning a lot of the things he's doing, especially some of the trades and stuff like that. But I just don't think this is a good omen for this franchise, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of the marker of maybe some dark years for the Lightning.
This is definitely the decision that he's made. Like, you think about new guys like Point, and I'm trying to think about who else he would have drafted, but Steve Yzerman drafted, but he drafted some of those older guys. So this is not JBB's class of guys he drafted. So this is definitely the first decision that he has truly made where it's okay, that was a GM's choice, good choice, bad choice. So I'm excited to see how this turns out, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because this guy knows hockey. I trust ownership, I trust Vinnick, I trust that we're bringing in a guy who knows what he's doing. So this is the first major stamp that he's going to have on this team, and I'm taking the hopeful optimist on this. I know me and Will kind of went back and forth on it last week, so it's overall interesting. I enjoy news like this. This is making the Tampa Bay community talk. And I'll reiterate this. I think I brought it up last week, but we as the Tampa Bay Lightning, we can't compete with the new class of hockey where it's faster. It's not so much about the power play. Teams are making sure that they're not giving up the power play. So in order to get faster, we got this new guy from the Hurricanes. And last year he had 20-plus goals, and a lot of those were coming 5-on-5. So I think this is the good route to go, and I'm just excited to see this. And I think the success of next year really weighs more on is Vasilevsky or is Vasilevsky's career declining, and that's what's going to shape how this team is going.
Well, yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a good point. I think with the moves that you've seen the Lightning make, bringing in Ryan McDonough, bringing in Jake Gensel, kind of getting rid of Duclair, Stamkos, Dumba. This is definitely a team that is going through a little bit of a style change. This is a team that, I mean, Ryan McDonough, we've had him for years. I mean, he is the big guy in the back of the power play. He's shooting from the point. He's locked down defense. He's going to be that guy who's going to help you score 5-on-5 goals. He can help in the power play, but he's not a specialist. Like, he's not Darren Radish. Darren Radish is a guy where that guy is a scoring defenseman. He is going to help you on the power play because he's got a good shot. That's what we had him for. He didn't quite live up to those expectations, but that's kind of what he's there for. But now you have McDonough, you have Jake Gensel, who is widely regarded as one of the best 5-on-5 players in hockey. I don't have anything. I've just seen people say that. I don't have stats to back it up, unfortunately. It's hard for sometimes. If you guys at home, if you guys have somewhere where your go-to hockey site to look up stats, like I'm pretty good. We're pretty good. I can get the baseball ones easy. I can get the football ones, but it's hard for me to find a good, reliable source for my hockey stats, unfortunately. So comment down below. Help us out. Where are you guys looking and get your hockey stats? Because I'm kind of jumbled up right here, getting them from all these different sites. But the game. Do you have the remote? The game. We got to switch it. Ray's behind us, by the way. Rays Rangers. Rays looking to avoid a sweep.
You can tell how dated this episode is based on the game.
But yes, the Lightning, with all these moves, are going through a style change. And it's just going to be interesting to see. This is a big swing. This is a big change. Will John Cooper? That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
We're going to clip that one for sure.
Will John Cooper be able to, change his strategy, change his lines, change his philosophy to match the style and the personnel and the talent of this group? I think he will. I have a lot of faith in him, which helps me have some more faith in this next season. But to me, it's a huge style change. But for me, I just go back to kind of the vibes and the feel, and this just feels like a huge mistake by the Lightning. I know
the more that we talk about it, the more I'm seeing all these different things. Like, you can keep going, but like I might have it's not a counterpoint, but like just the excitement that there is right now in the team.
I understand. Well, maybe with the team, I don't think the community is.
The community's sad, but I think this is a good thing for the team. And you can keep going, but I want to say something after.
I do agree. I do think the team needed a shakeup, but I think you could have made that shakeup with Stamkos. And my problem is you could have done this whole shakeup right here and still had Stamkos if you were just willing to pay him the money.
I think the easier route for the community would have been to let go Cooch. Like, I know he had an MVP season, like caliber, but this may have been his career high point for a trade.
But I think you already let go of a mainstay player in Sergachev. I don't think
Sergachev's not a mainstay.
I don't think so, but he was paid like a mainstay.
Yes, he was.
So I was kind of in the boat of, I think we made good moves, but I think we could have made all of these moves that we made and still gotten Stamkos. And you look, there's some dead cap space that they are not using right now. So if the Lightning are able to go sign a guy that can help their second or third line, a couple guys that makes their team deeper, then sure, I'll be on board with this move. But as of right now, it feels like a big mistake. I feel like just organizationally, like you look at the Bucks. The Bucks, honestly, going back to the beginning of, let's say February, Lightning season is winding towards the playoffs. Bucks season is done. If you were to ask me, what do I think is going to happen with two of the biggest stars in Tampa Bay history, I would have told you Mike Evans is gone, Steven Stamkos is going to stay. That's what my answer would have been. I think that felt like it was definitely going to happen. And my second option would have been both of them stay. I did not think in any circumstance Steven Stamkos would be gone. But then you look at the Bucks, and they sign Mike Evans, and they just keep adding on. And the energy and the vibes around this team, it's electric. If you feel like, wow, this team has retooled. They had their up, just like the Lightning had their up. They've kind of come down. They had to work around some cap situation, but they are right back locked and loaded. And then to me, I don't think the Lightning feels like this right now. That's my point. I think if you had been able to keep Stamkos while reloading and kind of retooling your roster, Lightning would have felt the same way the Bucks feel, like a team that can get right back to contending, like Alabama football or Georgia football. You lose all these players, but you're so well run and you're such a well-oiled machine that you're back at it. So to me, I think losing Stamkos, just in the case of the way the Lightning feel and the vibes around the Tampa Bay Lightning as an organization, I think it does set them back, and I do think it's going to be a bad omen for this season. I have a bad feeling about what's going to happen.
I think as far as having the bad season goes, is how are we going to get out the gate? If we get out the gate and we're losing 8 of our first 12, yes, that will put a damper. That will put a bad taste in our mouths. But let's say we jump out to a good start. We rally around a guy, one of the guys. Just a quick asking a question. Who do you think the guy is now? Who is the staple of leadership in the
staple? It's good. I think Victor Hedman's going to be your captain. I think he's going to be your team leader for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be the defensive guys. I think McDonough coming back into the locker room, he's going to help out. I think Hedman. I wouldn't I know Kucherov and Vasilevsky, they can kind of have their ups and downs. So if guys
maybe a young guy can step up, maybe this is the time for a Hagel or a Cirelli to become a real vocal leader. Maybe I don't know. I thought it was a great thing you guys brought up last week. Who is going to be that guy? I think it's pretty obvious that Victor Hedman's going to be the captain. I don't think.
I think they might take a break on the captain role for a year.
Maybe.
I think Hedman will earn it. If things go well next year, I think
Hedman's earned it. I think it would be kind of disrespectful to Hedman not to give it to him immediately. He's been here for so long. He's the same boat as Stamkos. Stamkos just
it might make it a little bit awkward though.
This
is just a side rant, but to give it to him that quick, it might be Stamkos is gone and now you get to see. And I could see just some.
I don't know. I just feel like Hedman's been such a leader and a class act.
I think that he's the player to give it to, but I'm just curious, will they wait a year?
I think they'll give it to him, but it's a good thing to ponder. But
and on that, I think this is a good shakeup. I've heard people say this, and I agree that John Cooper wouldn't have just let this happen. He has a big hand in what happens in this franchise, and for him to say it's all right, it's okay. I think he has something in mind. Maybe it was time for a shakeup. Maybe it was time for something else. And Cooch had such a good season that you can't necessarily trade him. And Vasilevsky has really led us. He's led us through this Stanley Cup era. When it was Bishop, we couldn't quite get over the hump, and Bishop would get hurt constantly. So we couldn't get rid of Vasilevsky.
Wait, everyone turn around.
No, I'm sorry. Oh. You couldn't get rid of Vasilevsky. Whatever.
It was Nathan Eovaldi in the last 8 starts against the Rays, 6-0 with a 1.44 ERA. Hey, look, leadoff single though.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, so you couldn't get rid of those portions of the core. Those are the younger players. But you could get rid of Stamkos. And this is the point that I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember my thought process up until this point, and I got it. So during the COVID season, when we lost Stamkos for most of that playoff run, you can make the argument we were able to get to that point without Stamkos. And I know he scored that major goal, but who knows? Maybe if he wasn't in that situation, history would have rewrote itself in another way, and we would have been able to win that Stanley Cup without Stamkos. So that's just another reason to think hey, maybe there is something more to this team than just him. And yes, it's crushing. It's even more crushing on the community. Like I said it last week, and it'll be sad not to see him at those kind of fundraisers and things like that. And if he retires in Nashville and lives in Nashville, that'll stink as well. But I think that if this hurts the emotions of our hearts more than it does the on-ice play of this hockey team. I think we will probably be better next year than we were this year. And I think, I'm not saying we're going to win the Stanley Cup next year, but I think we might break our first-round exit streak. That's my bold ticket. I think we're going to break the first-round exit streak.
That would be a heck of a story. I do agree. I think that's the best argument for kind of the whole Stamkos. It's not going to be a big deal. Is Joel's right. That was an iconic moment from Steven Stamkos to score that goal in the Stanley Cup. It was unnecessary. I think the Lightning would have won it regardless. I think people look at it as just it was an iconic moment.
You could make
a movie
awesome about that.
You could. And obviously, maybe the momentum carried them. But, I think at that point they were up 2-1 or 3-1. They handled the Stars in that series.
In the game we needed the goal, but it was...
But it was early. Yeah. It was early. It was a 1-0 goal early in the game.
Yeah.
And that was the first time the Lightning got over the hump. And, a lot of the time in Stamkos' career, he was the focal point of the offense, and they never got over the hump. And so he was the guy for the team. And kind of as it started shifting to being Cooch the guy, it did start to kind of
Yeah, it's for the last couple of years. It felt like Stamkos was on the back seat.
Oh my goodness. I agree.
Cooch, Point, Vazzy.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that, but I do think you still look back at that 2020 team. A lot more guys on that team. So either we need to see some young guys emerge and become, have the same firepower as that team. It could be. That is very true. But like I said, as of right now, without seeing another move from the Lightning, without seeing some young guys coming up, I know we have a pretty stud-worthy prospect, Isaac Howard. I don't know if this is the season he comes up. I know he was balling out in the Olympics or the World Juniors or something.
He may come up for a cup of coffee, but we'll see.
But if he's kind of what you're banking on and he's going to play and be kind of that big spark plug, then I don't know.
And he doesn't have to be because we have Point and Kucherov.
For sure. But yes, I think. But as of right now, I still don't have a great feeling about it.
I think this team is going to be fresher coming into this season.
What I was going to bring up is I think this might be the most important regular season.
Absolutely.
Since 2019? I mean, 2019 was an important regular season. They were coming off that loss to the Capitals, and obviously they got swept in the first round. But ever since they got swept in the first round, the regular season has felt irrelevant. It has not felt like a thing that's important to the Lightning.
It's usually just a tune-up.
Exactly. But I think this year, with a new team and a new style, I think there's going to be a lot more for Lightning fans to have to hold on to and really focus in on the regular season, which I'm kind of excited about. I think it's going to be entertaining to have more of a important regular season. Maybe you guys right now are saying at home, like, we've always cared about the regular season. You guys are just being spoiled.
Y'all are liars.
No, and I get that, but I do think there's a general consensus that ever since they get swept by the Blue Jackets and then they win the next season with obviously it was COVID, so it was all jumbled up. But ever since then, the regular season has felt just like a tune-up, like Joel said, just get in there, play solid hockey, find the holes in your roster, address them at the trade deadline, and then boom, let's go on a run. But this year, it's going to be a whole new style. There's going to be a lot of new faces. It's going to be a whole lot of new players playing on different lines with people. So I am excited and I'm tuned in. I'm going to be tuned in to watch what this Lightning team looks like in the regular season because it's a very, very crucial regular season coming up.
Yeah, and I think the team might have just got comfortable. Like the team might have been like, we're Stanley Cup champions. That's our captain. We're just going to roll. Like the common saying in hockey is like the regular season is just the preseason. Like once you get into the playoffs, that's when everything's new. It's a whole new season, and anything can happen. And I think the Lightning might have been getting comfortable resting on those merits, and it just wasn't there wasn't enough. And John Cooper may have simply said, it's time to change this up. Like guys are kind of looking to this captain. They're kind of saying he's going to figure it out. He's our guy. He's the dude. He's got the C on his chest. And he might have just been like, you know what? It's time. Like if they're asking me like, hey, is it all right if we get rid of Stamkos? Like, are you going to be able to handle that? He may have simply said like, yeah, like for the sake of winning, the goal of this business is to win. He may have said, yes, it's time to shake up that locker room. And this may have been the way that he's doing it. And I'm just looking at this from an optimistic standpoint. So, again, I'm just looking forward to next year. Next year is going to be a can they tell, like, it's, I think of like the New England Patriots when they lost Brady, or like the 49ers when they lost Joe Montana. Like, I'm not going to act like I was alive for that. But when they lost Joe Montana, Steve Young's there ready to go, and they run off another series of Super Bowl wins. So, like, who's to say that couldn't happen with us? And maybe it won't, maybe it will. But I'm sure the Monday morning quarterback that day when they lost Joe Montana, it wasn't the most exciting room that you could have found. So who knows? Let's see what happens.
And I mean, I know you're not a basketball guy, Joel, but you look at the Golden State Warriors, and they won a lot of championships. They won one with just Curry, Draymond, and Clay. Then they won two with Kevin Durant and those three guys. And then Kevin Durant left. It took him a year or two. And then they were back on the mountaintop with those old guys, with those old crews. So it's been done before. There's been dynasties that have kind of been with the same guys but kind of pieced together differly.
As much as I hated the 2009 Yankees.
Yeah, that too. That's a good example. So I do think there's a potential for this Lightning team to do that. But I think my only caveat is it remains to be seen, did they do too much of a shakeup? Was Sergachev and Janot enough, and they should have kept Stamkos, or was all of these moves needed? And are these pieces in this new Lightning going to form into a cohesive unit, or is it going to feel like there's a huge hole left by Stamkos?
I'll go on record and say I think they did the perfect amount. You kept around enough of the core with the Kucheroses, with the Vasilevskis. So if I'm wrong in a year, like, you guys can be like, man, that guy was an idiot, and I'll wear it. Like, it'll be okay.
I'll go on record and say I still would have liked to see Stamkos in the uniform. I still think they had the space. All he wanted was $4 to $5 million. I think Janot and Sergachev was enough of a shakeup, and I think we still could have had that speed and that new feel without it.
I just don't know where Stamkos fits in that, though. Like, he's too slow. Like, at that point, do you put him all the way down to one of your last groups going out?
Stamkos on the third line.
Like, are you going to pretty much exclusively do him on the power play?
Well, that's kind of what he was. I don't know.
I mean, it's just not enough.
I
think he wanting respect is now going to a better role where he's going to be going to Nashville, and he's that guy with pedigree. He's that guy with the Stanley Cup.
It's gonna look weird, man.
I don't know what the word is, like groovios. I hear people say that one all the time. Gravitas. So I don't know. there's a word that I hear said in sports communities, but I don't remember what it is. Anyways, he's now that guy bringing that in, and the Lightning having completely lost that. Like, I know they only have like 10 players or so left with the Stanley Cup.
That's a lot.
Capabilities. Yeah, it is a lot. I would have thought it was more. Yeah, it's around 10 players that are from those Stanley Cup teams.
That's a lot, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gravitas.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's a word. I was just throwing it, trying to use it.
I see your side of this, and like I said, I'm very excited to watch Lightning regular season to see how it works. Yeah. Because another thing is, if they get out to that bad start, is it time to really blow it up?
No.
All right, I don't know.
I mean, maybe if we get to like 2/3 through the season, maybe.
Well, I mean, that's when the trade deadline would be.
And even, I mean, I'm not blowing it up like first week.
No, obviously.
I would maybe second year if something like that happens, but first year is the test drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and there'll be new players coming in. And new players will be the voices, or new players that are existing players that now have to be the leadership.
Both. It'll be both.
New and existing.
Yeah.
Like, the hole will be filled.
Mm-hmm. It's going to have to be. And it really does help that you have, in my opinion, the best coach in hockey in John Cooper. I have a lot of faith in him being able to, be the voice, get the parts where they need to be, bring the team together, make it cohesive, because I think he's a great coach.
Yeah, that's what I said last week. Guy Boucher was not able to get us to the promised land. He got us close, but it was once John Cooper came in, that's when we got to the Stanley Cup. Like, Guy Boucher was only able to get us to Game 7 versus Boston, but it was once John Cooper came in the building, that's when we started to win. So I think he is also part of the reason why we have this winning philosophy and a winning atmosphere.
Absolutely. And going back to my Bucks Lightning comparison, I mean, I got a lot more faith in John Cooper than I do in Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, it might have been more important for the Lightning to get back Mike Evans for that voice that he is, because you don't have as strong of a voice as the Lightning do from the coaching position. So I'm just comparing teams because it is so crazy that both same year, both teams, similar success, make playoffs, don't go on a long run, and we both have franchise players, some of the best, greatest players in the team's history, and they're both free agents and in similar situations where they're you feel like they're going to have that drop-off, but they haven't had that full drop-off yet, and they're still playing good hockey or good football. So it's crazy how you have multiple of those in the same year.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you're talking about Brady versus Baker, but that's where I see it too.
Oh, 1-0 Rangers.
How about that?
Oh, yeah, that too. But
I mean, that's where I see it. It's like, Stammer is one of the best players to put on a jersey, but who knows? Maybe we found the Baker Mayfield of hockey. Like, maybe he's not on the team yet, but we'll see. My bold take: Lightning will win a playoff round this year.
All right, put it down.
Put it down. I'll eat it, or I'll look like a genius.
We'll make those bold takes too closer to the season. He'll reiterate it.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll even get bolder.
Two rounds?
Maybe. Yeah. So are we good on hockey?
I feel good.
All right. We're good on hockey. We're going to move on to these guys right behind us. Rays baseball, and we're going to...
Hopefully by the time you're watching this, we didn't get swept.
Hopefully, yep. But the Rays, I mean, most of this time, especially in June ended last week, we are in July, and the Rays, they were playing solid baseball. I think we will start off. They started a road trip. They won 2 out of 3 against the Nationals. Good series. The only bad game, unfortunately, happened when me, Joel, and Will were all at the game, which was unfortunate.
My fault. I'm the one to blame.
Maybe. But 2 out of 3 against the Nationals is nothing to sneeze at. It's another series win. They had 4 series wins in a row, and they were looking for 5. They headed on the road against the Kansas City Royals, a team that took 2 out of 3 against the Rays in Tropicana Field, and also a team that is closely ahead of the Rays in the wild card standings. I know it's a little early to look at that, but, I mean, these games matter. And the first one was a funky one, as on Tuesday, July 1st, right? Tuesday, July 2nd, the Rays faced off against the Royals in Kauffman Stadium. It was not beautiful this night, though, because there was a lot of rain going on. We would play 5 innings both ways, and in 5 innings, the pitchers would kind of show off. Because we had Zach Littell going 5 innings, 0 earned runs given up. He has already given up more runs in this game behind us than he has in this game. But he would only go 5 because of the rain delay. On the other side, Brady Singer for the Royals would go 5 innings and give up 1 earned run. And at the rain delay, after 5, the Rays would be up 1-0. And then we'd come back a couple hours later, late night with the Rays. Super late night. This game, I think, wrapped up about 1 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
So... hey, but if you're up there watching it, it was a good game because Battle of the Bullpens, the Rays won. Richie Palacios would get an RBI double to put the Rays up 2-0 right after the rain delay. However, Bobby Witt would cut the lead in half with a solo home run to make it 2-1. But then in the 7th, the Rays would strike again. Isak Paredes would get a 2 RBI double to make it 4-1. Then top 9, Brandon Lau would add on with a mammoth shot off former Ray Nick Anderson, 433 feet for Brandon Lau, a solo home run to make it 5-1, and that would be your final score. The Rays would win this one 5-1.
Keep going.
Looking to, on the next day, win the series.
Wait, before you go,
yes.
Shout out to the Royals fans. I think a lot of them moved down to the lower bowl, but that bowl was still packed at midnight their time.
Really? Yeah. There was you could hear them. There was enough where you could hear. There was there was not enough where it was chanting, but there was enough where you would hear them.
Yeah,
talking
they were
loud.
They were there.
Yeah, the people that stayed too were really rowdy and loud.
Good job, Royals fans.
Shout out them. But in the next game, we would not have rain. We would have Michael Wacha versus Ryan Pepio, and unfortunately, in this game, it would start off good for the Rays as Isak Paredes would hit a first inning solo home run to put the Rays up 1-0. However, Ryan Pepio did not have his best stuff this game. He would only go 4 innings pitched and give up 2 earned runs. These 2 earned runs would come in the 3rd inning as the Royals would take a 2-1 lead off a Bobby Witt RBI double and a Vinny Pasquantino RBI single, 2-1 Royals. And then bullpens would hold. Edwin Uceda, a guy that we should talk about, he has given up 0 earned runs and I think about 10 innings he's pitched this year, has some nasty stuff, throwing 95 from his sidearm angle. Just a really good find for the bullpen, and it's time to give this guy leverage innings. I don't want to see Armstrong. I don't want to see Kelly. I want to see Edwin Uceda, Kevin Cash. All right? He would go 2 innings and give up 0 earned runs in this game. Sean Armstrong, unfortunately, would have another bad game, though. In the 7th inning, the Royals would get 2 runs off a Salvador Perez RBI single off Sean Armstrong. 2 earned runs given up for him. 4-1 Royals. But then on top of the 8th, the Rays would try their darndest to strike back. They would get a RBI double from Ahmed Rosario to cut the lead to 4-2. They would get more men on base, but unfortunately they stranded too many men this game. They would not get any more runs. They would have the chances in both the 8th and the 9th, but no runs getting it in. The Rays would lose this one 4-2, looking to win the series on July 4th in what turned out to be a crazy, crazy ball game. This one we had Zach Eflin facing off against Alec Marsh, and let me tell you what, the offenses had a lot of fireworks. This game was fun, but it was stressful. A lot of fireworks, if you will, on 4th of July for these two teams. In the first inning, the Rays would get 2 runs off a Randy Rosarina ground out, then a Josh Lowe double, 2-0 Rays. Then in the second, that guy we have not seen in a while, Johnny DeLuca, go Johnny, go, would hit a solo home run to make it 3-0 Rays. Richie Palacios would add on with an RBI single to make it 4-0 after the end of the second, but these Royals would not go away today. Michael Massey would hit a solo home run, making it 4-1, but then the Rays would get one back. Johnny DeLuca, another RBI, an RBI single this time, 5-1 Rays. But then in the bottom of the third, the Royals kept creeping back. Bobby Witt would hit a sac fly to make it 5-2, and then Vinny Fat Quintino, that's what I was about to say, past Quintino, would hit a RBI single to make it 5-3 Rays. But top of the fifth, the Rays would get some big runs. Taylor Walls would get an RBI sacrifice fly, 6-3 Rays, and then Ben Rortvedt, that man again, gets a 2 RBI single. My hero indeed, 8-3 Rays. But then the bottom of the fifth, the Royals would get one run back, 8-4. The Rays would get another run back, though, to make it 9-4. This time it was Brandon Lau hitting a bomb again, 9-4 Rays, solo home run. Bottom of the sixth is where it got hairy, though, because the Royals were gifted 2 errors from Richie Palacios in this inning, and they would get 3 runs off of it to cut the lead to 9-7 Rays. But then a huge insurance run from Isaac Paredes, RBI single, 10-7 Rays. Bobby Witt would hit a Chris Paul home run in the ninth to make it 10-8. That we could not get that guy out. But Pete Fairbanks would shut it down and give the Rays a 10-8 lead to give them their 5th straight series win.
Hunter Renfroe. Hunter Renfroe is like a weed. It's like, what's this weed doing here? Because I'm like, Mike Trout. Like, what? Wait, no. And I'm like, oh, yeah. It's his understudy, Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah, we can't get away from that guy.
No.
I don't, yeah.
It's like, what are you doing to the Royals, man? Like, I don't know. It's just like, he whenever you think you won't see him, you see him.
Well, it's like, and of course he played his best baseball
He
against
did.
the Rays.
He did, yeah.
I mean, he was hitting the ball over the place. I think he threw out a person or two with that cannon of an arm he has. But yeah, I mean, you look back, I guess we could start off with the first game. Zach Littell, unfortunately, the rain delay kind of dampened his what could have been an incredible start.
Yeah.
5 innings, 0 earned runs. He was lights out in this game. So I don't know. Obviously, he's behind us pitching right now, and he's already given up a run. But good to see Zach Littell.
Because his rhythm got thrown out in this rain delay. He needed to go. He needed
a good rain delay.
He needed his 6 innings.
Remember we were talking last time. Rain delays always bad for Tampa sports.
True.
A good one.
True.
But yeah, it was good to see Zach Littell have a good start. I know there was a couple weeks where he was kind of getting a little bit hairy with his starts, a couple bad ones. Had a really bad one against the Braves, had a couple mediocre ones. But his last couple have been really good, so that's been good to see.
Yeah, the best part about this start is he had no walks.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a Rays pitching classic. They don't walk people, for better or for worse, but it's for something. What happened in this game?
The only person in the bullpen to give up a run was Kelly, so that's good. Poche went runless, Adam went runless, and Fairbanks went runless.
This was a really good stretch for Rays pitching because the night before against the Royals, or it wasn't the night before, it was 2 nights before. The Sunday game against the Royals, the Sunday game against the Nationals, they shut them out, and then they come back the game after and only give up 1 earned run. So this was a really good stretch for Rays pitching. Like Joel said, bullpen was fantastic. Adam, Fairbanks, Kelly gave up the run, but he was okay. I don't know. Who else did we see in this game? Clev?
I don't think I saw that name, but I could be wrong.
Load, you stupid phone. Poche. Oh, Poche was great in this game. So Colin Poche has been good. I don't think he's, knock on wood, but I'm pretty sure he has not given up an earned run since he got off the IL. Nope. So
he hasn't been in any game since that night, though.
Yeah, they don't use him enough, man. They keep putting in Kelly, and I want to see Poche, man. Or they keep putting in Armstrong, and I want to see Poche, man.
Poche does scare me, though.
He does, but he doesn't scare me like Armstrong scares me now. Yeah, I think this series, the Royals, I mean, got to shout out Richie Palacios. I mean, just doing some great stuff. 3 for 4 on Monday. I mean, did he play on Tuesday? I'm trying to pull up the stats. My phone is spinning. 3 for 4 Monday. He didn't play. He was 0 for 1 on Tuesday. He didn't play. And then the night after, he was just swinging the stick all over the place. He was 1 for 3, but I think he walked a couple times. Yeah, he walked too. So he was on base a bunch. He has been pretty phenomenal. recently. I mean, in the last 7 days, he has a .571 on-base percentage,
Wow.
Richie Palacios. He is playing – they had him in the leadoff spot in that July 4th game. They've had him all over the lineup, all over the field. He's been fantastic. He's kind of been someone who's been under the radar for the Rays, just playing a really good baseball. Another guy for the Rays that's been under the radar that I just want to shout out because I keep seeing it. In the last 30 days, I'm going to give you guys Ahmed Rosario's stats. He's hitting .295 in the last 30 days. .295, .718 OP. Wait, no.
308 over the last 7 days.
Yep.
He
354
spiced it up
on base.
even
Yeah.
more.
He's hitting it close to 300 the whole year, but he's been hot. Like Joe said, last 15, he's been 308. Just been playing really good baseball. Anytime he's in the lineup, I would like to see him more, but it's just kind of hard to give him good at bats because how'd they get a man on second, man? Oh, nice play.
I don't know, audience. You tell us.
But yeah, Rosario and Palacios, I think, have kind of been unsung heroes for this lineup as they've kind of gotten to heat up. So just wanted to give those guys some love. The next game, I think we maybe could talk about Ryan Pepiot because I feel like he's kind of been struggling recently. But he would only go 4 innings pitched, and I'm pulling up his game log right now because it's just like, I don't know, I feel like he's just been off. So he had...
Teams may have figured him out at this point.
Maybe. So he had a great start. The one good start he's had recently was against the Mariners. That was the start where he got pulled really early, and we were all like, "Why'd you pull out Pepiot?" Yada yada yada. But he went
His rhythm got messed up.
maybe 5
Come
in
on,
the third.
Cash.
Yeah, 5 in the third. Only 1 run in that game. But before that, he only went 3 in the third against Pittsburgh, and then he would only go 4 2/3 against the Braves. So 3 of his last 4 starts, he hasn't been able to get it out of the 5th inning. He seems to he struggles with the walk, and the last few starts, I think it's been pretty apparent that his off-speed stuff, he has not been able to have great command over. That fastball is always there, but for Ryan Pepiot to take that next step, he has to be able to kind of weather the storm, kind of like what we've seen from Taj Bradley, be able to weather the storm when you don't have your best stuff, still be able to kind of find a pitch that you can kind of lean on and get some easy outs, be able to find, a slider or a changeup middle of the game, because this is kind of how especially Rays young pitchers develop. They have that electric stuff, but they always seem to kind of be so up, so down with what they're doing. Just in general, they get the big strikeout games, but then the next game they just can't get through 5 or get through 4. So I think
the offense hasn't helped him either. 4 out of his last 5 games, we've scored 2 runs.
we got out of that behind us, by the way.
Nice.
So 4 of his last 5,
we've only scored 2 runs. In all those games, we scored 2 runs, except for the Pittsburgh game.
And the Pittsburgh game is the game he went the shortest. So the one time the offense helped him out, he
three
didn't help the offense. Yeah, so
you can't have it all.
Yeah, so Pepiot has definitely lost his rhythm. Not the same rhythm he had, early June. But it'd be nice to see him to find it. He's a young guy. He's going to get more and more experience by every start. I think he's played more than the Rays kind of expected him to going into the season.
Yeah.
I don't know if they expect him to be kind of like a AAA guy potentially. But just looking to see next start, Pepiot have that command of his secondary pitches, I think will be a huge thing for the Rays. Anything from that 4th of July game, that crazy one, anything that stuck out to you?
Brandon Lau got another home run in that game, right?
He had 2 home runs in 3 games this series.
I mean, that's been nice. Like, I saw the rain-out home run. Like, I got back from what I was doing, and I sat down for the 9th inning of that game. I saw that home run, so that was nice. And then, man, it was the 4th of July was just
it was
fun.
It was
game.
starting to stress me out, though.
Like, that was one of those games where I was kind of watching in the background, and it was like, oh, look, we have 2 more men on base. Oh, look, we just got a double. It was like a phantom dream or something. It's like, wow, this is what offense looks like.
The 4th of July game was one of those ones where if I was watching it and I didn't have a rooting interest, I would have loved it.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you have a team you're rooting for and it's such a up and down, crazy, hectic game, it gets a little bit stressful, I would say.
I only really saw the part where we were like putting on all the runs, so I think that was why I was like, man, what
one
a
of those
game.
innings got hairy, and I was starting to get a little heated about it.
You know how I love those kind of games. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I wish I'd been watching that part.
Yeah, Joel loves a nail biter, even when it stresses me out.
I mean,
him.
That's what reminds me I'm alive.
Yeah, so I mean that's a Royals series. That was your 5th straight series win.
We caught the Royals at the right time because they've kind of fallen off.
But they were coming off. They had beaten Cleveland 3 out of 4, so they were kind of playing good baseball off that series. So it was a really, really nice series win on the road.
They took 2 or 3 from the Marlins before that, but before that they got swept by the Rangers. So they were turning it back up.
So it's just like. Obviously, I don't know if the Royals are going to be a legit playoff team. That still remains to be seen.
I think they could sneak in with the 3 wild card spots now, or is it 2?
It's 3.
Yeah, with the 3 wild card spots,
could.
I think
they're going to be in the
sneak
mix, but I do think they might be a team that ends up kind of 81 wins.
It depends if they put a couple pieces into the team. I think they could.
I just don't know if they're going to, but they might have a prospect they can pull up. I don't really know. It'll be interesting to see.
They're currently 48 and 43.
Yeah, they're right in the mix of things. They're right. The Rays and the Royals are on the same caliber right now. The Rays are trying to catch the Royals and stuff like that. And pop up, but that's a big series win against a team that you could be fighting for in September for a playoff spot. So that I was really impressed with the Rays. Any closing thoughts on this series?
Nope.
All right, so. Before we move on to the next series, we have to recap a trade because it is June, or it was early July, not June. It was early July, but the Rays were already at work as the Rays traded notorious starter, if you will, Aaron Civale. Aaron Civale was – hold up. Let me pull this up. I want to make sure I get it right. No. I know his name. Okay. On July 3rd, I'm pretty sure the Rays traded – Aaron Civale, a much maligned starter, a guy they got at the deadline last year for Kyle Manzardo, one of their top prospects, a guy that just was never able to kind of figure it out with the Rays, never able to just...
He just never found it with us.
He just never found it. He was very hot coming over to the Rays, and he kind of cooled down, came back to earth as a Ray, had some ups, had some downs, but never turned out to be the guy that we were looking for. He was traded to the Brewers for prospect Gregory Barrios, a shortstop who is in high A ball right now, hitting about 300, but he is still not an MLB-ready player, of course. And I turn to you, Joel. Initial thoughts on this trade?
I like it. It is sad, like kind of like a sad pill to swallow. Like we definitely had to humble ourselves and admit that maybe this trade didn't work out. As of right now, the Cleveland first baseman that they got from the Rays for getting Civale initially, he just got sent down, so that makes it a little bit easier to swallow. Like he's not looking too good right now, but granted, next year he'll probably look great. And who knows? Like this shortstop we got, he's been hitting 300 for most of the levels of baseball he's been in. So maybe this is a trade we win on in a couple of years.
Yep.
And right now, I mean, Civale never looked good for us. So maybe when he was with Cleveland, like things just got lucky for him and he looked good.
I think that is a true statement. I think that when Aaron Civale was acquired, he was definitely on a hot streak.
Because I think we looked that up last year. We were mad at him, and it was one of those things where he had like the luckiest ERA in baseball early in the season.
That's definitely something that was true. And it's also like pitchers get hot. I mean, you can have a really good month or two, and that's just not the guy you are. And I think that's what we kind of found out. Unfortunately, the Rays got burnt.
I think Cleveland knew that too. They were like, let's do this while the iron's hot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think the Rays got burnt mostly because of necessity. Because if you remember back to 2023, the Rays were in dire need of starting pitching. I mean, you had McClanahan, Springs, Rasmussen all going down to season-ending injuries. And the Rays needed starting pitching. This was a guy that was pitching well. He had the stuff that kind of made you think, hey, man, if Snyder Tack gets a hold of him, he might be able to become a legit, really good starter. And it just never happened. I think it's going to, like Joel mentioned, we're going to go back and look at it, and this is going to be a trade that we lose. I still think that first base prospect could be a guy for them. I think he's an MLB The Show legend. You don't know about that. But, oh, boy. Jose Caballero 2-run home run. Uh-huh. Let's go. We just hit off Eovaldi. God bless. Let's go. Anyways, that's your live Rays reaction. Anyways.
I don't know if we lose this trade.
I think we do. I think
the Cleveland first baseman's not like, I don't know how good he is. Like I think
we don't know, but
I think the player we got just now and him, I think they probably equal out.
As for prospect rankings, no. We don't know how
on-field play over the next 20 years.
We'll see.
Like it's a 1-for-1. Like I looked at the trade that we did for Cleveland, and when I saw that it was just a one-player kind of thing, I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I think.
Like had we traded more players to Cleveland, that's would have been a little bit more gut punch.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we could look back at it, and this guy has a solid MLB career, and we're like, yeah, we lost that trade.
Yeah,
we could look back at it and say, hey, this is our defensive shortstop.
Trades for guys like that, like 1v1s, like sometimes it's just a coin flip.
Mm-hmm. For sure. But yeah, I think the main reason the Rays lost that trade was necessity for the starter that they needed.
Yeah.
I think objectively, though, to get what they got for Civale at this point was a good thing. I think
very impressive.
I kind of looked at it and I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get our prospect for him. We might have to take someone's salary on. We might have to. But fortunately for us, Civale had a pretty solid 3-4 game stint where he was, pitching 5 innings, 2 earned runs for a while. And the Brewers were in dire need, kind of like us, of starting pitching. It's kind of the same story. So I think the return we got for Civale, objectively, unfortunately, I think the trade we made last year, I don't think is going to be good for us, but I do think the trade we made in 2024 was a good trade for the Rays.
Yeah.
And I think as you look at the outlook of Rays starting pitching, it's going to be interesting to see. We will mention his start, but this trade opened up a spot for Shane Baz, who had been in Durham for like a month and a half, 2 months, doing a lot of rehab starts, making sure he is healthy as can be. He came up, and he is now going to fill Aaron Civale's spot in the rotation. So now you have 5 solidified Rays starters, and you have Jeffrey Springs in Durham right now. I think he went 4 innings, 1 earned run in his last rehab start. So he's ramping up to a point where I think post All-Star break he should be ready to go for sure. So it will be interesting to see what the outlook of the Rays starting pitching is going to be. Are the Rays going to hold on to all 6 of these guys? Are the Rays going to move someone like Littell or Eflin? Or are they someone going to do the bullpen? I don't know. How do you look at the outlook of Rays starting pitching after this Aaron Civale trade?
I think it's definitely one of 2 things. I think they either trade Eflin or they put one of the lesser-known guys into the bullpen.
So you're thinking...
my hope would be... I'd probably go with trade Eflin.
I think so, too.
That would be my hope. Like, my hope for this season would be to trade a couple of these guys like Eflin, because the Rays prospects that we like, the ones that have the most success, are when we've scoped them out better in systems around the league, and we say, hey, player for player. So I'd be up for trading Eflin.
I think so too.
And I mean, what's his salary? Like, let's say we cut his salary and then we actually go out and use a little bit of it in the offseason. Like, that'd be pretty cool.
He's making like $10 million a year.
Yeah, so if we took that and got like a nice DH or maybe a first baseman type guy, like, I'd be all about it.
Or even if we cut that salary and we can use that salary to pay for someone we acquire at the deadline. A solidified MLB player. But I agree with you. I think Zach Eflin, I think he's going to be the one that's going to be moved. Unfortunately, I think he seems like a good guy. I know he's from the area. He's like a Rays fan, born and raised.
Oh yeah.
So that will suck, but I do think he's the one.
It's all business.
It's all a business. I think he's the one with the most value. I think he's already been linked to some teams, and plenty of teams need experience starting pitching. But I think the question will be, will the Rays go the prospect route for this, or will they try to get either a guy who's young and either has a little bit of MLB time, or a genuine solidified hitter? Do you have one way you think the Rays will go?
I think it probably depends on how we're playing at the last moments of the trade deadline. If we're playing pretty good and we just kind of want to shuffle the team up, that's where we'd go the high AAA or low beginning of his career type player. And if we're not playing well, that's where we'd probably go the prospect.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's why, again, the last month of baseball, the Rays have been playing good baseball, but that's why it's been so important. It's been so important for this 2024 group of Rays for them to play well in the last month, because it's going to determine who they get rid of, what they get back for the people they get rid of, because it's the Rays. They're going to make a trade deadline move. Something is going to happen, but are they going to get someone who can immediately play catcher right now for Zach Eflin?
That would be ideal.
Are they going to get a DH type player who can hit some home runs for Zach Eflin, or for Randy Rosarina, or for Zach Littell if you want to go that route? Are they going to get someone like that, or are they going to get a catcher who just got drafted last year, and he'll be up next year or the year after.
Knowing the Rays, they'll probably go the year after type guy, just because those guys are cheaper. But like, man, it'd be nice to get some profit for Eflin right now.
Even like I said, I think the best Rays trades are when you get a prospect guy that has been developed by another farm system that the Rays can kind of tinker and bring into the MLB in their own little system. That's kind of the niche that was Isaac Paredes, Austin Meadows. I mean, the list goes
Myers,
on.
Yeah, it's like that's the guy you want. The
Randy
the
was
one that's coming up like next April.
That, or even the one, but either coming up next April or coming up when you get them. It doesn't know. But those are the trades that the Rays thrive off of, and I would love to see the Rays use Eflin or Littell to go after a position of need with a player that is a budding MLB player, like just raking in Durham or not Durham in AAA and ready to come up, or a player that has been up and down the MLB, but you see the potential. If you could get a guy that could potentially help you this year, but for sure help you next year, I think that's your sweet spot for this Rays trade deadline.
So I'll say this. I don't think Eflin by himself has that kind of value to get yourself a AAA player that's doing well, like has potential. But if you were to package Eflin with somebody else, would you do it?
Yeah, I think
like
I would.
Eflin or Rosarina?
I would do a package like that.
What about Eflin Diaz?
I don't want to trade Diaz.
I think that's where you get that kind of value.
That's where you have to get a solidified prospect.
I think you would for that trade. Would you do it?
You would. I've been going around. Here's my take on Yandy Diaz. I want to see Yandy Diaz play with the Rays, retire a Ray, and become the Rays hitting coach.
That'd be nice. That's not going to happen.
I really want to see that.
The hitting coach part, maybe, probably. But I'll say, I don't think any player in the Tampa Bay community will retire a Tampa Bay sports player.
Wow.
Like, I'm even going Evans. Like, if Evans retires a Tampa Bay community sports player, I'd be surprised.
He's going to retire a buck.
Like, I think like him and Levante David have a really good chance.
Okay, Levante David has to.
But I think so. But like Stamkos, like going into that, like Vinny didn't retire, Marty didn't retire with us. Like Tampa Bay's just not a retire with us kind of community.
Which is funny because out of sports, it is the retire community.
That's the irony of it. So
it is the irony. But I would be willing.
Diaz is not retiring, right? That's what I'm getting back to.
I would love that. I would be willing to package Eflin and Rosarina. I think you could get a really good return for that. You could fill your holes, do all that stuff, and still be a good baseball team in 2024 with that package. I would be much more hesitant to package Diaz in that trade, mostly because I love Yandy Diaz. He's one of my favorite Rays players of all time, to be honest with you. And I still think he has so much left in him. I mean, we've seen the way he's been playing. But, I mean, if you get a slam dunk prospect for him, at some point you're going to have Junior kind of move to third base, and maybe you can move Isak to full-time first base. I don't know. I would understand the move, but I'm just such a big Yandy Diaz fan that I would really, really hate to see him go at this trade deadline.
Yeah, I was trying to see what his contract is.
I think he's
on a 3 year.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd trade him. If this team goes south and this is his last year, which I'm looking to confirm, I
think next year's his last year.
Yeah, that's the perfect trade spot then.
They get a year and a half of control.
Yeah, a year and a half of control. Yes. Next. So okay, we got 2 years. Next year's $10 million, and then after that, there's a $12 million option.
That's cheap, man. That's so cheap.
I mean, if you could get me like a star-studded prospect, 2 likely star prospects, like maybe not star, but really good players, and a star, I would trade him and Eflin in a package. To me, like that would put the budding team into one of the favorite teams. So I could see a team jumping out.
That would do really good. It has to be a prospect that can play next year.
Yes, I think the star player does that. Your 2 budding players could be like September call-ups that could be pretty good, really good maybe, and then maybe like a lottery ticket. Like give me 4 players, and I'll give you these 2 guys.
Yeah, it would really suck to see Yandy Diaz go.
It would. After the bobblehead they gave out.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was last week.
It would leave a hole in my heart.
It would.
But yeah, it's all on the table. But I guess standing back to our Aaron Civale trade as we move on to Texas. So we think Eflin's gonna go.
Yes, I would say put money on it. Yeah,
I think so too. Aaron Civale trade. This Aaron Civale trade. Civale for Gregory Berrios. What would you grade it?
I'd say B in the middle.
I would say B-.
Yeah.
B-. It's good to get a prospect for Aaron Civale. Obviously, you wish you would have pitched good where you could have gotten a really good prospect for him. But that's kind of was just never the nature of the Aaron Civale. And I think last year's trade is bringing down this year's grade. I don't know if that's legal, but
that's why without last year's trade in mind, that's why I give it a B. You're going last year in mind and giving it a B-.
Yep, there we go. So as we move on, we will start back in this very ballpark that is behind us, the Texas Rangers series. We will recap the first two games of the series because obviously one is going on right now. Hopefully the Rays will hold on to this. But other than that, Friday night was a big night for the Rays because, like we mentioned, Shane Baz was making his first start since 2022. My goodness, it's been a long road back for him. Great to see him on the bump, and I'll tell you what, he looked pretty darn good. Shane Baz, he looked pretty darn good. Shane Baz, he went 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, only 1 walk allowed, and 6 strikeouts. Good Texas lineup, a lineup that won the World Series last year. And Shane Baz pitched really well. Unfortunately, the Rays did not hit Jack Diddley. Oh, also Shane Baz only gave up 2. All earned runs he gave up were in the 3rd inning on a bad stretch of 4 straight hits. But the Rays,
I think it was 2 outs too.
It was a 2-out rally. Yeah, it was really unfortunate. But for the Rays, the offense struggled. They would go 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They would leave.
How many walks were in this game?
8 walks.
Yeah.
8 walks, 3 hits.
Gosh.
Just absolutely brutal from the Rays. Just no big hits. And this was a story of Texas pitching continuing to own the Rays. It's kind of just been that's been the boogeyman team for the Rays recently.
They wiggled their way out of all of those walks.
They did. It was really unfortunate, and the Rays would lose this one 3-0. Moving on to Saturday, which if you thought it couldn't get worse, it did, as the Rays would again leave so many men on base. This game was started by Taj Bradley and Andrew Heaney for the Rangers, and both pitched pretty well, but the Rays did not get that big hit until later on in the game. But Taj Bradley would go 6 innings pitched and only give up 1 earned run. 1 run was off an error. Another really, really good game for Taj, and a game where he started off, he didn't look great. He didn't have his best stuff, his splitter. He didn't have feel for it until the middle of his outing. But he got out of there, and he kept the Rays in the game, and that would pay off for the Rays, as in the 7th inning, Yandy Diaz would put the Rays on top with a huge 3-run home run to make it 3-2 Rays. But because of the long inning, Taj Bradley was only at 79 pitches, but Kevin Cash, because of the long inning, decided he wanted Taj Bradley to come out, and Kevin Kelly would come in. And unfortunately, Kevin Kelly would allow a go-ahead 2-run home run to Marcus Semien to put the Rangers up 4-3. There would be no more action in this game, no more runs. And the Rays would lose yet again to the Rangers 4-3 off a really frustrating game.
I mean, from what it looks like, one of the games this week worked out where we pulled the starter early, but not this one.
This one was brutal.
This was
brutal because
I think it was the the Zach Littell game.
No, that was the weather delay. So
okay,
that didn't really.
Yeah,
that was
the pull.
God pulled the pitcher.
God pulled the pitcher, and it worked out.
But this game was really frustrating.
Once Zach Eflin's traded, I won't be able to confuse Zach Eflin and Zach Littell. So I'm very excited about that.
It is hard to have 2 Zachs.
It's very hard.
It's hard to have 2 Zachs. Well, it's also nice to say which Zach is going at the deadline, because one of them's going. Ooh, that was almost spilled. Anyways,
is that the thumbnail?
Which Zach is going?
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. But going back to yesterday's game, Taj Bradley was at 79 pitches. He had not given up any earned runs since the 3rd inning. I knew that off the top of my head. I'd have to look at it. The 3rd inning. And unfortunately, you just look at the way he was pitching, he had settled in. The splitter was working. He was getting swing and miss. He had a huge double play to get out of a jam in the third inning to keep it only at a 2-0 deficit for the Rays. He's your ace right now. Taj Bradley is your ace of your team. You have to treat him like it. That is unacceptable to pull him. I don't care how long the layover is. Let him get some warm-up pitches. Give him a shot. You put in your bullpen and you immediately get burnt. This is the second time this has happened in 2 weeks, and it's costing you games. Like we said, these are important games for the Rays in this stretch. You are playing for your life. Every single player on this 2024 team, you are playing for yourselves and this team to stay together and try to do what you came into the season trying to do, which is make the playoffs and win the World Series. I don't care. I get there's been a lot of setbacks and stuff like that, but this team was built to win right now. There's plenty of good players on this team, and Kevin Cash, by not treating your ace player like an ace, costed another game, and it's just getting repetitive at this point. Taj Bradley had worked out of so many jams this game. He made so many big pitches, and you didn't give him the shot in the 7th inning, and it immediately burnt you. And it's happening a lot this season.
Yep, you're preaching to the choir. I'm still resentful of 2020.
It's funny because it's the same ballpark.
Yeah.
It was funny. It's the same ballpark that he did it with Blake Snell 4 years later, and it was the same result. And I get it. The analytics tell you something, but you can't be a computer, Kevin Cash. You have to look at this team. This team is different than your other teams. These are different players. These guys are different players than they were last year. You can't make that choice. You can't make that choice. It costs you the game, and that's just a frustrating way to lose a game where this could end up being the difference between a series win or loss, a sweep or not sweep, because of one decision. And, I give a lot of leeway to Kevin Cash. I think he's a great manager, but over and over this season, he has made just too many mistakes in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to Friday, that was, I guess we could talk about Shane Baz. I mean, what was your thoughts on the Shane Baz start?
I mean, if you can work your way around those 3 or 4 straight hits like that, it was phenomenal. It was amazing. Like, it felt like the way that it feels like when rookies come up against the Rays and they do outstanding for almost the whole game. Like, the Rays have that happen to them almost every time a newer starter comes up. So for us to do it to the Rangers for most of the game was pretty nice. The only difference is because the Rangers are good, they were able to string together like 3 or 4 straight 2-out hits, and they win the game because of it.
Yeah.
So I'd say 95% of the start was really good.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think every box you were looking for him to check, he checked, man.
Yeah.
The velocity was back. He was throwing 98, 99 miles per hour. They didn't get a hit off the slider he threw. I'm looking here. I had it pulled up, actually. Where are we? Where are you, Shane Baz? They got hits off the fastball and the curveball. But, I mean, just great stuff. He was mixing and matching. He was throwing the changeup, too. Had all the pitches kind of working. The eye test was there. He threw – I mean, getting through 6 innings was huge, too. I didn't expect him to have that leeway, but he's definitely built up from Durham. I think every box you wanted to see Shane Baz check, he checked. And I'm just really excited to see what this guy can do in that 5th, 4th starter spot, wherever you want to put him, instead of Aaron Civale or Tyler Alexander or Zach Eflin. I just think it's so – just to see another really electric arm in the Rays rotation, it's just giving me a lot of hope for this starting rotation as the season progresses.
And give him some run support. Like, had we had a run or two by the 3rd inning, like, who knows? Maybe he's a little less stressed. But
yeah.
I mean, that's the life as a Rays pitcher is you're walking on eggshells all game and every game.
That game frustrated me so much because it was not even 24 hours ago. You scored 10 runs.
That's how it goes. It's like, well, no offense for tomorrow's game. Sorry, guys, we used all the milk. We got to go to the store, and we won't be back until Monday or Tuesday.
But I'm saying, Jonah Heim.
Man.
2-2.
Yeah, at least we got.
Don't let him get him. Oh, man. Come on, Littell.
Hey, on the bright side, there's no outs.
Yeah, I know there's no outs. Jeez. Anyways. it's just frustrating. It's frustrating to see the offense go from 10 to 0. It's all about the hitting and runners in scoring position. I saw they were 24th in MLB in runners in scoring position average. It's something the Rays still continue to struggle with, and they get the chances. I mean, I think they left double-digit people on base in the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday games.
They left so many people on base in the 4th of July game.
Yeah.
Like they said it at some point in the broadcast. It was exponential.
Yeah, it's holding the offense back. It's obviously any offense that doesn't produce, it's usually because they're not getting the big hits. But the Rays are getting in position more than other teams. It kind of just seems like, I mean, the at-bats are pretty good when there's no one on base or when there's a guy on second. You know, they're taking their walks, 8 walks on Friday. You have to have good at-bats to get that. I mean, obviously I know sometimes the pitchers lose control and they're easy takes, but not all of these at-bats were easy takes. These were good at-bats, fouling off pitches, taking close pitches, stuff like that to get on base. And then it's just something flips in their head where the at-bat and the approach just completely changes with the runner on second. So that was really frustrating to see for me. These last 2 games.
It's definitely contagious.
Yeah, it's contagious and it's frustrating. I know Siri had some rough at-bats. Brandon Lau had a couple where I was expecting him to get that big hit. He's been one of our best.
I mean, we can forgive him. He's got like 3 home runs this week. But I can't forgive him for the rest of the season. So
but if he would have popped that grand slam, it would have been pretty.
I was thinking it. When he came up that at-bat, I was like,
I was kind of thinking
slam?
it too.
Grand slam?
I was like,
what's
man,
one more home run?
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, that not hitting with runners in scoring position. I mean, the Rays had 1 hit with runners in scoring position in these 2 games. That was the Yanni Diaz home run. Obviously, that was a huge home run, but then you immediately blow it. So
I'd like to think they probably had a hit with a runner in scoring position in this game.
I don't think so. I think he was a man on first. It was a home run.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, it's just unfortunate to see kind of the Rays struggle against the Rangers. To me, I guess these games don't count because the Rangers own us so badly.
Right, we fell under 500 again. Yep. We're never. I mean, it's going to take us so long to get back to 500.
It's frustrating because I don't know. It's frustrating because none of these series wins that they've had in the past couple weeks have been sweeps.
Like sweeps are hard to come by.
If we had gotten a sweep in one of those, though, it would have given us a lot more leeway, you know? But it is what it is. This is a frustrating series. Hopefully they can avoid the sweep today. But other than that, highlight positive, Shane Baz, Taj Bradley, the young pitchers look great. But Rays offense continues to be stifled by Texas pitching.
For all of eternity, they've been stifled by Texas pitching.
Yeah.
They really are the thorn in our side.
They are.
The Texas Rangers.
They definitely own us, man.
My final last words for this series.
That's great. That was not a strike, and he called it a strike.
I'll
take it.
I'm trying to. I'm good. I'll save what I was gonna say for my tidbit.
Oh, interesting.
What I'll say about this series is my famous last words that I say to a lot of people is, "Man, I hope we saved enough offense for tomorrow." And yeah, we did not save enough offense for the Saturday and hopefully the Sunday game and the Friday game. We used all of our offense on the 4th of July, and we couldn't spread it out for the rest of these games against the Rangers. And hopefully we can get a little bit more today.
Hopefully. It would be whole week complexion would change with a win or loss today. Because you avoid the sweep, you're 3-3 on the week, you feel fine. You feel like whatever. But you don't. You get swept. It's just another, you're 2 games under 500. It's just another frustrating week for the Rays. So and they have a tendency to get swept too. Let's see, big pitch here. Oh, good block, Rortvet. Good block. But as we move on, I think we can move ahead to where is my mouse? To next week. The Rays have a big homestand against 2 teams. I was going to say 2 first-place teams, but the Yankees are not in first place. But the Rays have a big homestand. It starts on Tuesday at 6:50 against the Yankees. 3-game set, all 6:50 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Tuesday night, we will be having Carlos Rodon face off against Ryan Pepiot, 2 pitchers that have kind of struggled over the past couple weeks. So we'll see who can prevail. On Wednesday, we have Marcus Stroman versus Zach Eflin. Another two similar pitchers, honestly. Zach Eflin looking to bounce back after a pretty rough start against the Royals on 4th of July, but there was just fireworks going on that game. He's just a patriot. Yeah, come on, Colby. Then on Thursday, another good pitching duel. We have Shane Baz against Nestor Cortez, two pretty solid pitchers, and that will be your 3 games against the Yankees. And then the Rays have more home games against the first-place Cleveland Guardians, 55-32 for those guys, having a really, really good season. And on Friday, we have Carlos Carrasco back with his old team against Taj Bradley. That will be Friday night at 6:50, Apple TV game if you guys are wondering. Boo. And then Saturday on 4:10, we will have Gavin Williams against Zach Littell. Gavin Williams with an 11.25 ERA. I'm sure he'll go 7 innings, 0 runs against us.
So negative.
And then on Sunday, we will have Blake Lively versus Ryan Pepio to end off the series. Blake Lively, 3.14 ERA, having a good season, 77 innings pitched versus Ryan Pepio. So that'll be 6 games at home. The Rangers just took a 4-2 lead, and we're getting swept.
It was your idea to have this on in the background. Now you're just getting sad.
Man, if he would have caught that, that sucks. If he would have caught that, they might would have been
able to they would have doubled off the guy at third.
Oh, dude, he squeezed his glove too early. Dang. But yeah, 6 games, all at home. 2 pretty good teams heading into the All-Star break. Joel, what are you thinking? Any tips on these games, these Yankee games, anything like that?
Just make sure to yell "I got it" a lot at the games.
If you're around, show up for these Yankee games. We got punked last time they were in the Trop. Let's show up a little bit.
Oh yeah, Colby's got his horror stories from that. Yeah, just yell "I got it" a lot. That might work. And let's just hope that the Rays can be good at home because they're usually not. Record-wise, I'm feeling negative, but I'll try to be positive. So I'm going to go 3-3. My heart wants to go 2-4, but I'll go 3-3. And home run, let's keep it going, Brandon Lau. Let's get another one this week. Keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, especially this Yankees series. The Yankees have been struggling.
Oh, they've been really
mightily.
bad.
They just got a win over the Red Sox yesterday, but they have not been playing good baseball. Pitching's not great, hitting's not great. Do not let them break out of this slump in Tropicana Field. Do not let it happen. You guys have been Yankee killers, the Rays, over the last 5 years. You've lost both series against the Yankees so far this year. Don't make it a third. This is a crucial series. You've got to win. You've done pretty bad against division opponents. You have to be able to get a series win, especially potentially coming off a sweep against Texas, unfortunately. A series win is massive, and it's needed. Even a sweep. I really do think you could come out, play with that swagger that the Rays have against the Yankees, and you could get a sweep of these Yankees. The key, just don't win that first game. Tuesday is an important game. You win that first game of the series, it will feel completely different for both sides. I think they're going to do it, and I also think they're going to beat Cleveland because it's an AL Central team, and I feel good about the Rays against the AL Central. So I'm going to say 4-2. 4-2, 2 series wins this week. And give me, who do I want to pick? I'm going to pick Randy Arozarena against the Yankees. It's too obvious. He's going to hit a home run against the Yankees.
So I think I counted it out right, but it looks like the Yankees have lost, or I should say they've won. It looks like they've only won 6 out of their last 21 games.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. So don't let them get hot against you.
You better not let them. You better keep your foot on their neck.
Pissed.
Yeah. So I said 2-4. Brandon Lau.
I think you said 3-3. You said you were being positive.
Oh, sorry. No. Yeah. I mean, what?
What are we putting on record?
I'll stick with 3-3.
Okay, 3-3.
I thought I went the negative way when I said I was going positive, but 3-3 is probably more realistic. So I'll take that one. We'll act like that's the one I said.
All right. It is what you said.
Works for me.
There you go. And before we get into TB3 Tidbits, please remember to like the video, subscribe on YouTube, comment if you think the Lightning will be better next year without Steven Stamkos, or if you think they're going to be worse. Also, you can comment, I hate the Yankees, under below. We would love to see that. We'll like that. We'll all 3 like it on our personal accounts if we see someone comment, I hate the Yankees, because we hate the Yankees too. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at TB3 Sports Talk on both of those. And also, if you're listening on Spotify, hit the 5-star and the follow button. Thank you guys so much. We're going to TB3 Tidbit real quick, and then we'll be out of here. Let me think.
You first. I had mine, but now I've lost it.
Joel.
What did that say?
7.
No, what did the kid's sign say?
Well, it said 7.
I don't care about anything else. I just want to know what the kid's sign
So the Rays are going to get swept. So that makes the first game against the Yankees even more. Honestly, it's the Rangers. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It doesn't count. They own us.
I got mine if you need it.
Oh, here's what I'll do. I have it pulled up.
I can go first if you need me to.
Hold up. No. Here. Okay. I'm going to say it again. Oh, hold up. We have to time it. Wow. We're amateurs.
Where's Will when we need him?
All right, you ready?
Wait, no. Let me get one thing going.
Well, I'm going.
Oh,
Just
okay.
hit my button. What did we say? 1.5 minutes last time?
Yeah.
Okay. I've said it once and I've said it again. Stop fan voting in the All-Star game. I'm looking at these All-Star starters. Honestly, some positives. I can't be too mad about this. Really good to see Steven Kwan get in as a starter. He's having an incredible season, and the Guardians are having an incredible season too. I love to see them getting recognition. Jose Ramirez definitely deserves to be that starting third baseman. But as you look down, I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as your starting first baseman, just because he's in the city of Canada or the country of Canada, is really unfortunate. I think there's some better options around there in the AL. I know first baseman hasn't been a very strong position in the AL, but still, I just don't think really Vladdy is your guy up there. Other than that, I got no problems really with what I'm seeing. I will say, from the NL's perspective, Marcell Ozuna isn't in the top 2 of DH voting for the NL. They have Schwarber and Shohei Ohtani over him. That's a dang shame. You know, Marcell Ozuna is having a great season. I know he has his
pretty cold lately.
I don't know. He had a home run yesterday.
It was a streak of not home runs.
But yeah, as I look, I mean, Alec Boehm, third base, he's having a great season. Honestly, I'll just use my tidbit to say, fans, you guys did a good job this year. There's no wild people in the All-Star things. I think everyone distributed their voting, and honestly, this is a good case for the fans to keep voting. So I was going to kind of rant about how it was bad, but it's not too bad. I got to give credit to the fans. Good job. I think that I'm running out of time, or I don't even know where it is.
You've been out of time for a while.
I think Jason Adam is the most deserving player on the Rays to have an All-Star appearance. He has near a 2 ERA, and he's pitched a bunch of innings. But I also think Isaac Paredes deserves it. I would like to see both of them get that. But I think it might only end up being Isaac Paredes. So we shall see. But I think Adam and Paredes both deserve to be All-Stars, and that's my take on the MLB All-Star game. Hit it.
All right.
Go.
If you're a fan of orange creamsicle ice cream, then this is the time of year for you. But unfortunately, Wendy's has not been carrying their orange creamsicle Frosty since, I believe, the end of May. I unfortunately missed out on it, but I do have good news for you. You can get an orange creamsicle milkshake at Arby's, but I can't guarantee that you have tomorrow, not only because it's the end of summer, but also because the Arby's on US 19 in Clearwater could close any day. The overpasses are getting in the way, so keep that in mind if you're going out for your orange creamsicle milkshake. And on the baseball side of things, if you miss Nate Lowe, you don't have to because he's an idiot and likes going by Nathaniel Lowe, and I hate that about him so much. But on the other hand, at the moment that I'm looking at my stats right now, he does have 2 RBIs in this Rays Texas series, and I hate that. And also, he's hitting 500, which is pretty annoying. But again, Nathaniel Lowe sucks, and I hate him. And I think part of the reason why I hate him so much is because the Rays traded him, and I really miss him a lot. But he's also one of the ugliest men that have ever lived, and Josh Lowe's way cooler. But yeah,
and handsomer.
Yeah, he's way more handsome. But it does really stink that we don't have him on the team right now. He's currently hitting .269 with 6 home runs and 35 RBIs, which would look really nice on this Rays team that can't help but get shut out at least once a week.
All right. That's it. Nate Lowe, we miss you, but we hate you.
I'm sorry, it's pronounced Nathaniel Lowe?
Oh, I'm not. Nuh-uh. Nope. Who goes by Nathaniel? That's like...
It's the worst. I mean, it makes me hate him even more.
He's just like a snobby old rich guy.
It's like, I'm sorry, I'm Nathaniel Lowe. And you know my brother over here. My brother's name is Joshua Lowe.
Yeah. I'm so glad Josh doesn't go by Joshua.
Give him another year. He might start getting jealous of his brother, and he might start doing it.
Don't say that. Don't say that. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We are at the end of episode 46. Like we said, like, subscribe, Instagram, Twitter, follow, Spotify, follow, all that good stuff. Comment what we said earlier. Comment, will
the Lightning be better next year?
Are the Lightning going to be better? Or comment, I hate the Yankees. We'll take both of them. Get out to the Trop this week. 2 home series. Support the Rays. Football's coming up 9 Sundays until the opening game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 9 Sundays. Crazy. We're getting up to close. Excited to...
So college is right around the corner.
Yep. If you guys are new, thank you guys for watching. All you guys, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you, and we hope you guys have a beautiful and blessed night.